Hey everybody, it's Kairos. I'm doing another Jungle Concepts video today. I'm up to 16 subscribers so far, still on track to get that goal of 100 subs by the end of May. Would love if you could help me out with subscribe, with likes, comments of what kind of content you want to see, and just get the momentum going. Um, the way that we're going to split this up is into two parts. So I'm going to talk about how to use plants, jungle plants during the early part of the game, laning phase, and then how to use them around objectives and objective setup. So we're just going to go through talking about lane phase. So the way to use the different plants during lane phase. So we'll just take this from the perspective of we're on blue side. So we're on blue side. Our laners are, we'll just say this lane is pushing in. And so what we would do with the jungle plants in this situation. So if we notice that their jungler's on the top side, we'll say that he just ganked top. We want to use that opportunity on the bot lane to get as much as we can out of the jungle. So we would counter jungle here, but we would not take this scryer. So you only want to take the scryer on the enemy side or on your side if you've already revealed your location. So if you've showed on a gank, if you've shown on a ward, if their jungler has seen you. So let's say I walk in and I see that their jungler is on this, then I would come back and I would take this away so that he can't use it against my team. But if nobody knows that I'm here, don't use that because it will show it on the minimap. So if we hit this, you'll see the pixels across the minimap, and if anybody's looking at it, then they'll know your location. If nobody's on your if everybody on your team is on the map, they'll know that you were there. So we wouldn't hit that, and then we would come out here, and then we would pop this blast cone on the enemy side. So we pop this because it would deny something from the enemy team. So their jungler comes to base and they come back out. Let's say they have a Graves. The Graves would love to just pop this and then come over and have a much shorter gank lane. But if we take that away, he either has to E over this wall and he has to use his ability goes on cooldown for this gank and he won't have that ability, or he has to walk around this way, potentially revealing him further away so your lane has more opportunity to react. And so that should be the standard counter jungling part of your counter jungling. So let's say from red side, we'll say that we're on the opposite side. Their jungler shows down here, so we would walk in, counter jungle the camps, place a ward, something like that, come down, and we pop this blast cone, and then go on into either a gank top side or go into farming our top side or an objective. That would be our response. That's how you counter jungle. Or if they see you, you use the scryer. And then lastly, honey fruit. Obviously, you just take that for sustain. If you are low off of a fight, something like that, you want to continue farming, you would take that. Or you can offer it over to your laner. So right now, this lane is pushed all the way in. If I have a laner who's at half health, I would just ping this, say like, hey, come get this, and then they would come pick it up, and they can sustain in their lane a little bit better. So that is how you can use honey fruit a little bit more efficiently. Um, and so that's pretty much what to do in the early game. And so the next part of this is how you can play around objectives and how you can use plants to your advantage. So right here, we'll say that we are on blue side and that we are potentially taking this Baron. So this is a Baron setup. So you're attempting to get control over the Baron area. So what you would do is, as a team, come in and you would pop this Scryer at this point. You do that so that their team couldn't use this against you to have an extra source of vision. So you deny that, and then also you deny the blast cone. This is really important. This is something that you take away from the enemy team so that they can't come into this Baron pit for free. This is really important for if they have a jungler like Olaf or Udyr who doesn't have a dash. That means he has to walk all the way around here to potentially get a smite steal, or he has to flash, which is a really, really big deal. If he doesn't have flash up, that means you can just zone him out right here, make sure that he has no potential for a smite steal. So taking away that blast cone and that scryer is really important for part of your Baron setup. Also, a part of the setup could be if you have this plant location or this plant location, you can pop these and walk over and you leave them where they are. I've seen this in LCS a little bit, that if they walk in, then there's a little bit of slow. I mean, if they pick this up, I think it's a 35% slow for half a second or something like that. It's not big, but it takes zero effort on your part to set that up. And so if they have to walk in here, there's a little bit of slow, and it's really it can add up. That could potentially be in a really close fight something that turns the tide of the whole thing. Um, and then let's look at it from the other side. So let's say that you are on the blue side, and this team has complete control over the Baron. If you're lucky, this is still available and they haven't denied it from your use. So in that case, when you're coming out to approach this and you know that they aren't on it, don't waste this. You want to save it until you absolutely need it because it's vision that can't be denied. Basically, if you walk up, if this is available and you hit it, they can't use a sweeper to clear out a ward. It's something that it's going to show the Baron and the health and everything, no matter what, even if there's a control ward in there. And so you want to keep that available, and similarly, you want to keep this available. To be able to kind of disguise your entrance in here so that you could get blast cone over and then be in closer range to flash into the pit or something like that, versus having to walk through this really obvious avenue that they can just turn and CC you before you can enter the fight. And then I think that's pretty much everything. And the same goes for the opposite down here on Drake. And so if you're the red side team, then you want to deny these plants as part of your dragon setup. And if you're the blue side team, you want to keep these available as long as possible for a potential Drake fight. And you would be then denying these plants. You would be denying this and then the vision plant that spawns right here. Those would be the objectives that you're denying. And then you would pop these as part of the defense potential slow of then coming in. So that's pretty much all I had. Just a real quick video on using jungle plants to your advantage for objective setup and also in the laning phase of how you use those to your advantage. Hope this is helpful. Leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what else you want to see.
Boy, fire!